told you an NFL team spent a top draft pick on a quarterback who never played a single down? Not one snap, not even in garbage time. Christian Hackenberg was supposed to be a future franchise quarterback, a big arm prospect who once looked like a lock to be a top 5 pick. But instead of leading a team, Hackenberg's NFL career ended before it even started. He disappeared faster than any other high draft pick in history. To figure out exactly what happened, we need to go back to Fork Union Military Academy in Virginia, a school known for producing top-tier athletes. And Christian was going to be the next one. By the time his senior year rolled around, Christian was rated as a 5-star recruit and the #1 pro-style quarterback in the nation. To give you more of an idea of just how good he was, he had a 247 sports rating of 100. Schools like Alabama, Florida, and Miami all wanted him, but he committed early to the school near where he was raised, Penn State. And that decision would change everything. At the time, Penn State was in chaos. The program was in the process of dealing with one of the worst scandals in college football history. Many top recruits had decommitted, and some current players had transferred out. But Hackenberg, he stayed. He stuck with Penn State despite the uncertainty, and that loyalty made him a fan favorite before he even took a snap. He was viewed as the school's savior. Bill O'Brien, the former New England Patriots offensive coordinator, was in his second year as the school's head coach, and he designed a pro-style offense made for Hackenberg's skill set. At 6'4", 220 pounds, Hackenberg looked like an NFL quarterback before he even turned 19. He had a rocket arm, could make every throw on the field, and had a great understanding of the game. And in 2013, as a true freshman, he won the starting job. In his first college game against Syracuse, Hackenberg threw for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just a week later, he followed that up with a 311-yard, 3-touchdown performance against Eastern Michigan. By mid-season, he had already broken several school freshman records, including most passing yards in a single game and most passing touchdowns in a game with 4. In a game against 18th-ranked Michigan, Hackenberg threw for 305 yards and 3 touchdowns, leading a last-minute game-tying drive in regulation before Penn State finally secured the win in the 4th overtime. Yes, the 4th overtime. By the end of his freshman year, Hackenberg had thrown for 2,955 yards and 20 touchdowns, earning Big Ten Freshman of the Year honors. At this point, he was the biggest celebrity on campus. He could barely walk around without someone asking for a picture. Analysts were already calling him a future first-round pick, and some even said he would be the first player taken when he was eventually eligible for the draft. But just when Hackenberg was ready to improve on his incredible freshman season, one of the worst possible things happened. Bill O'Brien left. He took over as the Texans head coach in the NFL, leaving Hackenberg without the coach who had developed him. As a result, Penn State brought in James Franklin from Vanderbilt, and while Franklin was an energetic recruiter and motivator, his offensive system was a disaster for Hackenberg. Franklin ran a spread, up-tempo offense that required quick decisions and mobility, 2 things that weren't Hackenberg's strengths. He instead thrived in a pro-style offense, where he could sit in the pocket, scan the field, and let his arm talent take over. To make matters even worse, Penn State's offensive line completely collapsed. In his sophomore season, Hackenberg was sacked 44 times, or on 8.3% of the snaps he took, one of the highest totals in the country. He was constantly running for his life, taking hits, and losing confidence, and his numbers reflected it. He threw for just 12 touchdowns and 15 interceptions with a 55.8% completion rate. But even after this down season, Hackenberg was still projected to be a top 10 pick in the following year's draft. However, by his junior year, Hackenberg's struggles weren't just about the offensive line or the new system. His own play had started to get worse. He had become jumpy in the pocket, his footwork was off, and his accuracy was horrendous, overthrowing wide open receivers. His decision-making, which was once his strength, had become inconsistent. Even in games where he put up solid stats, he didn't look like the same confident quarterback from his freshman year. In spite of this, he still set the school's all-time passing yards record with 8,457 and touchdowns with 48. But Penn State was no longer a competitive program, and Hackenberg wasn't elevating the team like he once had. Despite his struggles, Hackenberg still declared for the 2016 NFL Draft. Some analysts believe that he had been ruined by Penn State's system, that if he had been in a more QB-friendly offense, if Bill O'Brien had stayed, he would have been an elite prospect. Others believe that his flaws had simply been exposed, that he was never truly as good as his freshman season made him seem, and after a year of film on him, he was figured out and teams knew what to expect. But whether scouts were in favor of him or against him, there was one thing that they were all especially worried about: his accuracy. Also guys, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Underdog. Join the millions of other fans already playing on Underdog, whether that be their drafts or their pick'em game. With so many sports going on right now, baseball, basketball, ice hockey, you can make a pick'em entry with players from multiple sports. You can pick a basketball player to have higher than X number of points, a hockey player to have higher than X number of shots on goal, and a baseball player to have higher than total number of hits, RBIs, home runs, and multiple other stats you can choose from. If you guys sign up with my promo code SheGotSports, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick'em pick, which is a player higher than, let's say, half a point for basketball, a baseball player higher than half a plate appearance, something like that. He finished his college career with an average of a 56% completion rate, a huge red flag. But then, when draft day arrived, the New York Jets shocked the football world by drafting Christian Hackenberg in the second round with the 51st overall pick. They were betting on him solely based on the raw talent he displayed during his freshman year, hoping that he would finally be able to figure it out. But here's the thing. The pick made no sense. The team had Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was coming off one of his best seasons, Geno Smith and Bryce Petty, which meant Hackenberg was coming in as the QB4. So basically, he had no chance of playing whatsoever. But to make matters even worse, his training camp was an absolute disaster. Hackenberg was apparently so inaccurate that he hit a reporter standing on the sideline twice. An anonymous New York Jets coach later said that he, quote, couldn't hit the ocean. Yikes. After not seeing action in the team's first two preseason games, he got on the field in the Jets' third. In that one, he completed 6 out of 16 passes for 105 yards with a touchdown and an interception. But things only got worse the following week. In the team's final preseason game, playing against the Eagles' backups, Hackenberg completed just 11 of his 31 passes for 54 yards and an interception. Yes, he completed just 35% of his passes for less than 2 yards per attempt. So yeah, he spent his entire first year rightfully as the Jets' 4th string QB and didn't play a single snap. But heading into the 2017 season, Hackenberg had gotten a shot to prove he could be a good NFL quarterback. The Jets cleaned house at QB, moving on from Fitzpatrick and Smith, leaving just Bryce Petty and veteran Josh McCown on the roster. The door was wide open for Hackenberg to win the starting job. And this time, he finally got a shot to play in every preseason game, even getting the nod to start in 2 of them. But once again, things went horribly wrong. In 4 preseason games, he managed just 1 touchdown, which is less than the number of pick sixes he threw. Hackenberg not only lost the battle for the starting QB spot, but also for the backup one. He spent the 2017 season as New York's 3rd string QB and didn't play a single regular season snap for the 2nd year in a row. At this point, the Jets had given up on trying to develop him into a starting QB. So before the 2018 season, they traded him to the Raiders for a conditional 7th round pick. It seemed like it could be a fresh start for the young Hackenberg until he got cut 3 weeks later. He then signed with the Eagles, but got cut quickly after. Then finally he signed with the Bengals just to get cut once again. It was clear he was an NFL talent. Or at least not yet. Hackenberg decided he needed more time to develop to show NFL teams just how good he could be. So he joined the AAF, Alliance of American Football, playing for the Memphis Express. There, he finally got his chance to actually start, but things didn't go the way he planned. He completed just 51% of his passes, threw 0 touchdowns, and was benched within 2 games. That turned out to be the last chance Hackenberg had to play pro football. At just 25 years old, the former number 1 QB in the nation's career was over. So why did Christian Hackenberg fail in the NFL? Well, I think it came down to a few key factors. First, the coaching and scheme change at Penn State really hurt his development. On top of that, there were reports that he didn't have a great relationship with head coach James Franklin. Second, in Hackenberg's final collegiate season, he was sacked on nearly 10% of the snaps he took. He was shell-shocked, and it affected his mechanics, footwork, and basically everything. We've seen this happen before. Look at David Carr, who was drafted first overall in 2002. He was sacked a record 76 times in his rookie season. After that, his career was basically destroyed. And third, let's be real, getting drafted by the Jets didn't do him any favors. We all know how much it matters for a young quarterback to land with a stable organization and a good coaching staff. The Jets, don't exactly have a great record at developing young quarterbacks. I don't think they've done it in the 21st century at all. I don't think they've developed a single young quarterback in the 21st century. If you guys want to know why a number 1 overall pick refused to play for the team he was drafted by, you could check out this video up here. Also, YouTube saying they think you'll like this one over here. They're recommending it specifically for you, sir or madam, you